So Coach Giles, what was it like when you found out that you were coming back to the University of Texas?
Well, Coach Herman, he's one of those guys that's straightforward, and he basically said, "Hey, you need to come with me." So he didn't have to ask whose car we was taking. We pretty much knew we just jump on the plane and go. But more importantly, though, for these kids, to get a chance to see this staff, and regardless of what has happened, it's about the now. What can we do for these great kids now? I want these kids to experience what I experienced. I had an opportunity as a player to play for a conference championship and win one. I had a chance as a coach to win a national championship. So I want those guys to experience, the kids now and the kids that we recruit, I want those guys to understand that you can win a championship here, and it's a great time to be here.
How does it affect you to know that that's something that you have to stress, though? Unfortunately, in this day and age, you have to describe to people the power of that logo that you're wearing.
I think over time, that's part of college football. You have to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, I mean, kids won't generate that. They won't generate that conclusion that, hey, you know what, they can win championships here. I think we got the staff in place to do it. I think the testimony, we have 3 to 4 guys that have won national championships, so the testimony is there. What we have to do as a staff is to establish the guys that we have right now, and they've done a great job of opening up their hearts and giving it to us, and accepting everything and anything that we're giving them to. We're talking to them about working out, the off season, the spring training that's going to come up. That's where it's going to be won. The championship's going to be won in the off season and in the spring.
Just run downhill. Sit. Hit. Come over the backs. Come over the backs. Come over the back. Come here. Balance right here. Right here. Hit. Step down. That's it right there. Good.
How have you developed as a D-line coach since you were here last?
As a coach, if you're not out going about and going to clinics and talking to other coaches, why are you in this profession? We're as coaches, we're trying to make the kids that we coach better players, better human beings. So the last 4 or 5 years, I've been at different clinics. I mean, one of the best professional football teams in Houston is the Houston Texans. So I've been able to go over their campus and visit with their D-line coach and their defensive coordinator. I've grown as a coach. I've grown as a husband. I've grown up as a father. So to me, it's been an unbelievable 4 or 5 years that I've been away from this place. But as a coach, I will continue to grow.
So when people ask you, okay, if I'm going to play for Coach Giles, who have you coached before on the D-line? What do you tell them?
I'm humble about that. I let somebody else say that.
You're humble about it?
Yeah, I don't brag on that. What I do is I say, listen, okay, I'm going to coach you hard, okay? The testimony that I have is I've coached 17 guys that's played in the NFL. Brian Orakpo, Tim Crowder, Brian Robinson, the Henry Meltons, the Jackson Jeffcoat. I might mention those names every once in a while. I'm not a guy that's going to talk about that. I'm going to be a guy that's going to talk about, hey, I'm going to make you a better father. I'm going to make you a better employee. And I'm going to make you a better person in society. And I want you to get your degree. Because I've seen guys as coaches be more concerned about, hey, I've coached 18 guys in the NFL. I'm gonna look a parent in the eye and say, your son's gonna get the degree. Okay? And they're gonna use that degree, and not only just for hanging it on the wall, they're gonna go through our life after football. And we're gonna bring people in front of them and they're gonna be people that run companies, CEOs, and they're gonna build those contacts. So when they get through playing 7 or 8 years from now, and they're 30 years old, they're gonna have something to fall back on because they're gonna have those contacts that they made while here at the University of Texas. So to me, hey man, it's great to see those guys make millions and millions of dollars, and they say, hey coach, we want to buy you a ring, we want to buy you a watch, and hey coach, we're talking about getting a truck. What kind of truck do you like? I'm more concerned about when Brian Orakpo introduced me to his wife and his daughter and his son, and Tim Crowder, hey coach, I'm bringing my wife over. I want you to see her. I want you to see my little girl. I want you to see my son. And to me, that's the reward I feel, because to me, I feel like I've accomplished something in the sense that I didn't have a father figure in my life. My father figure was my coaches, and those coaches were a big influence on me. So to me, I'm hoping that I can be a big influence on some of the players I coached.
When you talk about guys on that list, who can you point to in terms of a guy that this younger group can learn the most from, who got the most out of what they were gifted to them, and who developed the most under your time, your time coaching them?
I can pinpoint a lot of guys, and I don't want to, because if one of those guys see that, man, why you point me out? Why you point me out?
You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, they're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
I can say all of them had some attribute. I can go back to the first guy I coached here. That was significance was Tim Crowder and Brian Robinson. Both of those guys were two of the first defensive ends I got a chance to work with. I can go all the way back to Corey Redding. When I was a GA here, heck, he used to ask me for advice, and we were probably not that many years apart. And now to see him, 13, 12-year pro, retire, and now have his own business, to me, that's rewarding too. I mean, I had an effect on him. Henry Milton, who was at one time a running back / fullback, to now playing 8 years in the NFL and was an all-pro, to Alex Okafor, who's not too far away. He was in Pflugerville and wanted to be an engineer, wasn't sure if he wanted to play football, and now I think he's in his 5th or 6th season, to a Sam Acho, who academically, sometimes he would say stuff in the room, I'd be like, all right, Sam, get up in front of the room, explain what you just meant by that. Those guys had a big influence on me because not only did they learn something, I learned something from them. I learned how to teach them, because every kid learns differently. I didn't know that when I first got into the coaching profession, but I realized that long time ago that, Sam Acho learns differently than Jackson Jeffcoat, and Jackson Jeffcoat learns differently than Henry Milton. They all have their own ways of learning the material, but it's our job as coaches to make sure they learn that material. And then also it's our job as coaches to make sure it's not just about football, it's about life lessons. And that's to me, the reward is those life lessons that they've learned.
Talk about your defense and the D-line specifically when you talk schematics. What's their role in Todd Orlando's defense? What are they primarily asked to do?
Our main objective up front is to stop the run. Regardless of if a team is throwing the ball 60, 70 times, if they're running at 10, we want to stop all the runs. But we're the anchor. If we're doing our job up front, it really makes the job for the back end, especially the back seven, it makes their jobs a little bit simpler as far as taking care of their job. But our job up front is to really stop the run, cause disruption up front, and make those guys in the second level free to make tackles.
Set. Hit. Roll up my front foot. Roll up my front foot. Set. Hit. Bring my hips. Third and long. Let's go. Third and long. Let's go. Hit. Come on. Hit. 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 Hit.
I love watching your drills.
Yeah.
What's going to be the first drill you put your guys through in spring?
Well, we'll always talk about stance and start. To me, that's something that's always taken for granted. But we talk about stance and start, and then we'll get underneath the chute and work on our pad level. And I can go through it. I can give you a whole clinic about pad level, the leverage phase and the explosion phase by hitting the sled. But again, I don't want to bore you with that. But we will always talk about stance and start. We will always talk about ball get off. We always talk about going hands, hips, and feet.
What intrigues you about this group that you have right now?
Just the way they're working and the acceptance that they're giving me. Because I'm telling them, hey, listen, if you do this, you're going to get this. And Coach Herman is telling them, listen, if you just open up your heart and put a foot in the ground and believe in what we're saying, then this will happen. So to me, there hasn't been no pushback saying, you know what, you sure? Do we need to put a foot in the ground or do we need to turn this way? You say walk. You say run into that wall real hard? Yeah. So it hasn't been into that. It's just been from the weight room, which, I think we got the best strength coach in America with Coach Jansen McKnight. They've really accepted him. And in turn, when we come off the road recruiting, they say, Coach, my heart is here. Here it is. Coach me. and they've been very acceptable as far as anything we tell them, from the workouts to going to meetings and being on time. They've been unbelievable, and to me, that's a part of being a champion. You have to do all those things right now so it can be reflected in the fall.
And finally, to have the success you want in the fall, what needs to start taking place with your D-line in the spring?
Yes, McKnight is doing a heck of a job right now of making sure that they're doing what it takes to be a champion. But, if it's off-season work as far as getting up here at 5:30 in the morning, doing our drills, doing all the things that are required, okay, and then doing that much more to win a championship. Because it's going to take more than just, hey, this is what's on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. We got our lift in. Now you got to do that a little bit more to win a championship.
I'm not going to follow up on that because in watching one of the lifts with Coach McKnight, heard him stress to the guys and almost made them make sure that they did extra work after the set lift was done because he tries to ingrain it in their mentality that it's about the extra work you do. How is that process going?
To me, that's where it's showing up. That's where it's showing up. That's not something that's taught for kids, especially when you're in high school. And Coach McKnight did that at Houston. I seen him did it with guys that I didn't think had a chance to do that, but they understood. And if I'm going to be a champion, if I'm going to be better than average, I got to do more than average. So those kids are accepting it. They're opening their chest, and they say, listen, Coach, if it works, I'm trying it.